Acceptance is the best form of love is what they will say. Ethics in public life and ethics in private life. Just be tolerant towards all these imperfections. In public life, some values are more important, whereas in public life, there are so many conditions involved. Now, next part is ethics in public life and ethics in private life. Now, there is a difference when it comes to our private life and when it comes to our public life. And difference lies in that relationship itself. That's why difference can also be there in terms of some values sometimes. Means in public life, some values are more important or the relationship is of little formal nature. Whereas your private relationship, if I talk about the couple or if I talk about the entire family, that relationship or even your friends, that is part of your private relationship, or when you use the term sometimes personal relationships also. Now here I'm saying, when you talk about these relationships, whatever you do in these relationships, how you behave, how you act, what values you hold on to, all these things have very less impact on the society because it's just about your own family or your friends only. There won't be much difference, like society will not care much about it, what you're doing over here. And these relationships, we use one particular term for these relationships as having something called as unconditional commitment. Okay, when you go to office, let's say we think about public life. So, is there a commitment which is unconditional just like family members? Think about it. So, let's say I'm working for this organization. Is it an unconditional commitment? They'll say, we'll not pay you, sir. You just free of cost teach us. Or think about anyone working for anything that is about the public life. Okay, if that person treats you very badly, you will leave that place. Simply, if I'm getting treated badly, I'll leave that place. I don't care. I'll go for some other. But if you're behaving little badly with your parents, do your parents do the same thing? That end of agreement. Does this happen? This doesn't happen. Normally, this will not happen. So, we say here in case of private relationships, we have something called unconditional commitment. There is no condition involved. Whereas in public life, there are so many conditions involved. If those conditions are satisfied, only then this relationship will continue. If there is any problem or if you're not adhering to any of that commitment, then the relationship breaks on the spot. Make sense? So that's why we are saying there will be some difference. Now you observe one thing. Even if you are behaving badly, okay, even if you're not adhering to, sometimes you're not adhering to some values with your parents, still the parents will accept you as you are. That means your imperfection will be accepted in those private relationships. But in case of public life, they don't accept any compromise. Like if you're compromising of any of the value, then they'll not be okay with it. That relationship again will break. So we say there is very less tolerance in case of public life. And when it comes to our private life or private relations, there is so much tolerance that you also show towards others and they also show towards you. So much tolerance will be needed. If you want to continue that relation, certainly you will have to have so much tolerance. In the office, you don't like the boss, resign, simple. But then you married someone, then you have to go for talaq, talaq, talaq. Yes, it's a long process. It's a complicated process. Yes, and if you marry some other person, same thing can repeatedly happen with you. Am I right? Now, you can change the job every single year and you can still be happy. But if you're marrying every single year and taking talaq every single year, you'll not be happy for sure. Yes, and when it comes to family, like when you involve parents, can you replace them? Now, there is no option. At least in case of wife or husband, you have that option. But when it comes to parents or children, no option. Right? So, only option is just be tolerant towards all these imperfections. Yes, that's why people, there will be so many reels people must be watching on Instagram. They talk about relationship. They say, just be tolerant. Don't show ego. Just accept. Acceptance is the best form of love is what they will say. Right? In case of public life, there is no love. or there's nothing like that. There's an agreement. Let's say there will be some laws, some documents, you've signed one agreement, and according to that agreement, this relationship will continue. That's not the case in private life. There was never any agreement on which we were saying that only we will adhere to these things. Somewhere here and there, things work. Okay? That's how we see some difference when it comes to private life and public life. Here I'm just talking about how the life in itself is different when it comes to private sphere and public sphere. Okay? Do you behave the same way with your parents or your friends in the same manner in which you behave with others outside? Some people do that sometimes. Let's say, this I heard from some people who are there in military service or something, or police service. Now they behave in a particular manner when they are working, and when they enter home also they start behaving the same way. So much strictness, so much discipline, etc. Now that person's wife doesn't like that. Children do not like that. Yes. So sometimes many housemakers, they put a board also. Just like Britishers used to put, dogs and Indians are not allowed. Something like this, maybe they can put in that. Don't bring your professional, professional life in your personal life. We want just partner. We don't want a police officer to enter into the house. That's what their expectation is. Because these two lives are different is what we need to understand. We can't behave the same way. Right? Making some sense? Yes. Now we say, in order to conclude on this particular point, in private life, ethics comes mainly from love, the trust between the relationship, and the informal bond that we are holding on to. We don't need any agreement, or we don't need to sign anything. It's a completely informal bond. You have friends, that's an informal bond that you created. Nothing written, but that's the most secure form of agreement you have with someone. Right? When it comes to public life, ethics mainly comes from accountability, laws, there's some term called probity which we will discuss in our 5th or 6th chapter, and responsibility towards the society. Okay, you can't compromise on these aspects when you're dealing in the public life. Okay, these two differences will be there. Now, you observe one thing. Because these two lives are different, sometimes you might need some values which will be there in private life, but these are not needed in public life. And there will be some values which are needed in public life, but not needed in private life, because these two lives are different altogether, we are saying. But there will be some values which will be common. For example, being honest. Is it needed in private relations, private life? Needed in public life? Needed. Similarly, trust, compassion, responsibility, or so many other values, we can come to know that there are some values which are common, which are needed in private life as well as public life. Now tell me one thing, what is good? A person should have same values in public and private life. If these are common values, is it a good thing for this person or bad thing for this person? What do you think? Depends. Now see, we get into problem when there is conflict between values. If the values are same, we will be happy. I will be happy if I'm very honest with my parents, with my family members, and then I'm honest in the office also. Now there is no difference. There is a complete alignment of my values. Okay, it could be positive values, it could be negative values. Negative means I'm patriarchal at home and I'm patriarchal at office also. Yes, I believe in caste system, so then I'll be casteist in my family also, and then I'll be casteist in the organization also. So if I'm HR, I'll just recruit the upper varna people. But see, I'll be happy. You need to understand one thing. You judge me later on. Right now I'm saying this person will be happy because same values, no difference at all. When it will be problematic, at home this guy is very patriarchal. He was raised with all the patriarchal values, and now the office expects him to believe in equality. Now this is very problematic for this person because he's quite conservative, and now you're expecting this person to be liberal. Tough. Yes. So there was one of my friend. So I was working with Amazon, and in Amazon there were some different values. So one of the value was never call anyone sir or ma'am. Even if that person is 70 years of age, just use the name. Now that's an American value. In India, we don't do that. Like if anyone with little higher age, we will use some prefix or will not name, you will not use the name. But that was the culture. Or there was one culture that you can wear any kind of clothes. There's nothing like you have to wear, normally in corporates, you have to wear formal clothes. Right? Formal dressing code will be there in any of the corporates. But in that company, the values were wear whatever you want to. Shorts, shorts. T-shirt, t-shirt. Crocs, crocs, whatever. Now, there were some people, let's say one of the person who was a manager in some other company, he suddenly entered into this organization and he was shocked. How come so many things are happening and I'm not able to digest that this person is not calling me sir? I'm 70 years old. This is just 14 years guy, not 14, 18 or 20 years. And he's just naming me Nagendra. How can he name me directly? So this is where value difference is something we can observe, right? So when there is this value difference, from private life you have one other value and in public life you have to hold on to some other value. Now you will not be much happy with it. Okay, so having this similarity is a good thing as far as you are concerned. If you want to be happy, you don't want any complications in life, it's good to have same values everywhere. Okay, but see, if those are positive values, it's a good thing. But if those are negative values, then it's a problematic thing. Yes?